DJU and Florida State about to get it on and popping against Georgia Tech. But I think as DJU begins his career in Tallahassee, the conversation around him, I believe, needs to be unpacked maybe a little bit more, because I think we're viewing this incorrectly. We'll talk about that right now. If you're watching live, we appreciate y'all being dialed in. Make sure you're subscribed right here. If you're a Florida State fan watching this video ahead of Saturday's game, or maybe after Saturday's game, doesn't matter, make sure you're subscribed right here. It's college football. It's nothing but college football. The way that you want it talked about, the way that we enjoy it, the way that you enjoy it. This is a college football sicko community. So would love to have you all a part of this. The best way to be a part of it, by hitting that subscribe button to the On3 YouTube channel. So thank you in advance for that. The conversation around DJU, DJ Uiagalelei, has shifted since his Clemson days. Because when he got to Clemson, what was the expectation? Hey, this dude's the next great one. And then we saw that little peek at what he could be against Notre Dame, where he lit it up and threw for I don't know how many 100 yards. And an exciting peek at the future. The expectation was he was supposed to be the next great Clemson quarterback. 5-star out of high school. He's following Trevor Lawrence. You're hearing buzz around him during practice. And I think Dabo said there were times during practice where DJ Uiagalelei made Trevor Lawrence look human. Not a knock on Trevor Lawrence. If anything, just feeds the hype train for DJU, and I'm all about it. However, didn't happen that way, right? Whether it be the offensive system, whether it be DJU at that point in time in his career, for whatever reason, it did not work out. And so now he goes to Florida State. And I think the overblown opinion is going to be, well, he's a 5-star, right? Got to live up to it. Got to be, hey, you were a 5-star out of high school. You got to be that 5-star at Florida State. You were supposed to be the next great guy at Clemson. Go be the next great guy at Florida State. I don't think that's the point of any of this. I don't think that's the point at all. Quite frankly, I don't think that's why DJU went to Florida State, to prove himself and his 5-star billing. That's not the point of any of this. Okay? I'm sure DJU would like to prove himself right and prove, his 5-star billing right, of course. But I think DJU and what he's going to be at Florida State is very different than what was asked of him at Clemson. Like at Clemson, it was a quarterback-driven offense in a lot of ways. Yes, they ran the football, but you look at Trevor Lawrence, look at Deshaun Watson before him, it was we go as the quarterback goes. That's not Florida State. That's not. It's going to be run the football, be efficient, keep us on schedule, make the right play. Don't give it away, for goodness sakes, and we're going to be in good shape. And so they're not going to ask DJU to throw for 4,000 yards, 3,000 yards. If he does, great. But again, that's not the point of why he's at Florida State. And so we talk about, well, there's so much pressure on DJU, right? It's his last year in college football. He's got to do this, he's got to do that. Time is now, DJ, all that. There's some merit to that, I suppose. I mean, you're the quarterback at one of the most recognizable brands in all of the sport. Of course, there's some pressure there. You were a high-profile recruit. Of course, there's some pressure there. His backstory from Clemson to Oregon State, there's some pressure there. Last year in college, he wants to give himself the very best chance to be drafted as high as possible in the NFL draft. Obviously, there's pressure there. But make no mistake about it. How we assess DJU in 2024, whether for better or for worse, is not going to be isolated on his shoulders. And that's one of the reasons, quite frankly, again, why I believe him going to Florida State was a great fit. Right? Because remember all the schools that were in the market for a quarterback, and we threw out Miami and you threw out Oregon. I think USC was a talking point. And I'm not telling you what was or wasn't options for DJU, but him landing at Florida State with a quarterback guru in Mike Norvell and what they're going to do offensively, I think that's on the money for where he is at in his career. Again, the assignment at Clemson was be the next Trevor Lawrence. Be the next great one. I mean, that's nearly impossible to live up to that standard. That is like unreachable expectations. Now at Florida State, again, go to the right place with the football, keep us on schedule, don't turn it over. Pretty straightforward. Here's how we're going to find DJU. Not by stats, not by the yards per game he throws for. You want to see those look better, obviously, but that's not going to be what defines him. We are going to define DJU by wins in 2024. We will define DJU by how much he is able to elevate and take this Florida State football team that is 83rd in all of America in returning production. Right? That's it. That is it. That is, I believe, a big part of DJU's focus in 2024. I believe that is the focus in Tallahassee for Mike Norvell. Like, DJU is a part of this machine. He is not the headlining front man for this deal. You're the quarterback, so you have a role to play, but that's just it. Play your role. We're all getting paid. Play your role. We're all winning football games. That's the thing with DJU. So this narrative that, there's too much pressure on him or he's got to have this year or that year, I think that's garbage. I truly do. I think that he's in tremendous shape to go out and accomplish everything he wants to accomplish. And the overwhelming opinion around DJU, if they win the ACC, anybody talking down on DJU? Heck, can you talk down on DJU if they win the ACC with him playing quarterback? I personally don't think so. Because the point you can come back with when they say, well, he didn't throw for as many yards as Cam Ward. He didn't throw for as many yards as this guy. He didn't. What'd they do? Win the ACC? He's the quarterback? Okay. Mic drop. So the narrative on DJU shifted since his Clemson days, but I think that the pressure lies in that brand and not so much on DJU having to be a 5-star. I think that's out there. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.